is this soft, intimate space. It's more than just a platform. It's a God-given vision that God has instilled in me to create a soft, intimate moment for each and every one of us women. And to be honest, every woman has a broken little girl on the inside of her, waiting to blossom out to become the phenomenal woman that God orchestrated her to be. And so we all come together and we share each other's fears, we share each other's doubts, we all share each other's things, dreams, and ambitions that we all trying to accomplish as mothers, as women. And we all just find ourselves sharing the same passions, we find ourselves sharing the same purposes, and God wants us to all be able to evolve into the great person that God has orchestrated us to be. So I'm here to let you know that, sis, I see you. And not only do I see you, but God sees you. God wants you to allow your light to illuminate and shine right before others. God wants you to evolve into the beautiful butterfly that you are ordained to be. God wants you to know that each and every woman in this video who's going to be portraying this purpose woman that's inside of you, God wants you to know that you're not overlooked because He sees you. God sees the brokenhearted. God sees the wife. He sees the single mother. God sees the visionary. God sees the entrepreneur. He sees the warrior that is within you. God sees the poor in spirit. And God sees the worshiper. But most importantly, God sees you. Tune in and watch Hey, I See You live podcast every Thursday night at 7 p.m. You can watch it via Facebook and also listen to it on Spotify and Buzzsprout. Take time to water yourself. Hello everyone. I pray you all having a blessed day on today. Well, I should say a blessed evening. Welcome to the pre-show of Hey, I See You. We're going to begin our actual show at 7 o'clock p.m. Today we're going to have a pre-show. I pray each and every one of you was having a blessed night. I know last week we was having some technical difficulties, and I thank God that it was able to get resolved. The company was able to take care of all the editing, so we're going to be repeating the episode on the week before Thanksgiving, so you guys could understand everything a little more clearly. I know we couldn't get much clearage going on, but I thank God those things got resolved. I want to give a special shout out to the ladies. I don't know if you all was able to see the video that just got played, but if you all was able to see the video, I want to give a great shout out to the ladies who was able to make that video manifest itself, which was the vision that God had instilled in me for this podcast, for this platform. I first want to give a shout out to our first subscriber, which is Prophetess LV Williams. Bless you, woman of God. She is getting ordained also as a pastor Sunday. So to God be the glory. Woman of God, I'm so happy and so proud of you. Continue to go forward in the calling. Continue to stay faithful. And God is going to continue to allow you to soar like the eagle. So we thank God for your very soul, God. And I'm just happy, and I can't wait to celebrate with you as well. Second off is Minister Yvette Grady. She portrayed the wife in the video. I thank God for her as well. She has been also a phenomenal friend, and also she's a phenomenal woman of God. I've done seen her push through many adversities, and her testimony is very powerful all by itself. The next lady I would like to give a shout out to for the video is Minister Javasha Guy. Woman of God, I'm so happy for you. I pray that God continue to bless your ministry and bless your platform as well, because she is a phenomenal cook. I don't know if you all know her, but if you're following her page, you might not want to follow her page hungry, because when I tell you girlfriend can throw down, she can throw down. Is so creative with her craft and with her chefing skills. So I thank God for her very soul, and I pray that you have a blessed and healthy baby, because I know she's expecting. Her and her husband is expecting a child. So I thank God for her very life, and the fact that she took time out her busy schedule to also help make this video manifest is a blessing. Second lady I'd like to give a shout out to, who was involved with the video, Sister Rhea Francis, woman of God. I thank God for your very soul as well. For a single mother, you are definitely with holding your own. You're definitely with holding your own. You stood against so many strong tests, and I'm just so proud of you. I really am proud of you. You definitely showed me what resilience is like. So if anybody else don't tell you they're proud of you, just know that I definitely am proud of you, and God truly sees you. The next sister I would like to give a shout out to is also a sister of mine in Christ, Prophetess Nona Lewis, woman of God. I give God praise and honor for your very soul as well. She is so creative when it comes to writing. When I tell you her words is prophetic, it's very prophetic. She walks very heavy in the calling, and I thank God for her very soul as well. Big shout out to Minister Sharika Poladar, and also her husband, Mr. Calvin Poladar from Kingdom Legacy Productions. They are the ones who made the video. They basically revamped the video. The video was originally made by Jarvis Francis, but they revamped the video and allowed it to come to life and go out. Each and every one of you guys, it takes a village. And Minister Sharika, she has that organization called Where's the Village, and can I tell you, in households and in ministry, it definitely takes a village. You can't do it all by yourself. If you're trying to do it all by yourself, then I'm just letting you know right now, you're going to need help. You're going to definitely need help. There's no I in team. Can I repeat that one more time for somebody? There is no I in team. You need help. I learned to stop screaming independent a long time ago. I say, Lord, bring me help, because the independent stuff, that's for the birds. I need help. So I thank God that He summoned my tribe. God that He allowed faithful people to come my way. I never thought in life that I would actually be around faithful people who have such a strong zeal for the work of the kingdom of heaven. So I definitely thank God for you all. You guys are so important, and God truly sees your hard work and your dedication. And I know for a fact, because I'm a living witness, your work, your dedication, your faithfulness, it doesn't go unnoticed. He sees you. Thank you, Holy Ghost. He definitely sees you. So to you guys tonight, we're gonna be going into our actual show, starting at the 7 o'clock hour. I just want you all to know on tonight that I have a couple of things that's gonna be going on. But before I begin to tell you all about those things, why don't you go and subscribe to our page to help the podcast, help the podcast, show your support. Your support is always needed. The subscribe link is right here at the bottom, right there at the bottom. www.buzzsprout.com. Every time you guys go subscribe, you always support this platform. You're always going to support others as well, because one thing about this platform does support others. So I'm going to just put this up one more time again so you all could get the link, and I'll do it again after the actual show goes out. Your support is greatly appreciated, and we thank you all for the support. Once again, I want to give a shout out to Prophetess Elvina for being our first subscriber. I say, God is definitely doing a thing. He's definitely doing anything. The Bible tells us don't despise small beginnings, and I definitely love celebrating small beginnings, because I look at it as a stepping stone, like a milestone, because I always want to mark, and this is for somebody, you always want to mark where you started. It is so important that you mark where you start. Because if you can mark where you start, then when you see that you finally got to a certain destination, you could always look back and be like, wow, this is where I started. This is how it all got started. And you'll definitely see how far you came. Can I tell you, some of you right now need to start marking some of your points where you done started from. Because if you could right now look back on your life, right now, even during this holiday season, if you could look back on your life and actually see how far you have came, you won't be so hard on yourself. It's time that we stop being so hard on ourselves, because we actually do really good. And I'm not just talking about women, I'm talking about people. We actually do really good. And sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit where credit is really due at. We did really good beyond the mistakes, beyond the setbacks, beyond the disappointments. If you could actually really look back on your life, you can actually see that you really done good. You have grown. You've grown in wisdom. You've grown in knowledge. You know, some of the things that you used to do, you decided it's not even worth doing anymore. I'm going to do this thing the right way. I'm going to walk into my calling. I'm going to fulfill the purposes. I'm not going to settle for the life that was given to me. I'm going to fight for greater. Don't you know that God told Joshua they could take the land? It's time that we truly begin to take the things that is for us, but it comes with a fight. And if you're not willing to fight, then that tells me you don't want anything, because success is a fight. Success is definitely a fight. It doesn't happen overnight. It don't fall in your lap. It comes with a fight. Can I tell you, this platform was a fight. It came with a whole lot of, a lot of late nights, a lot of studying, a lot of obstacles. It came with a lot of sacrifice. This was a fight. So I said, Lord, if the little things like this, just getting started, is a fight, I can imagine we could really do something big. But the Bible does let us know that too much is given, much is definitely required. So I thank God for that understanding, and I pray that we all have that understanding as well. So for our pre-show tonight, I just want to let you guys know that on December the 14th, starting at, we will be having a Christmas special table talk, and that is going to be December the 14th. I'm going to put it up again at 7 o'clock, December 14th. Mark your calendar down. We're going to have some phenomenal speakers. We're going to have a little virtual table talk with the ladies, and we're going to be coming from the topic, the greatest gift that God has ever given you. The greatest gift that God has ever given you. I want to put it up one more time, because it's important that we understand sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit, and because we constantly look at the things that we don't have, and we don't appreciate the things that we do have enough. I think I need to repeat that one more time. That was good all by itself. We constantly concentrate on the things that we don't have, and we don't give enough gratitude for the things that we do have. So the Lord said to name that topic for our Christmas special, the greatest gift that God has ever given you. Many of us have a reason to be grateful, even despite the fact that, our lives may not be exactly where we want it to be. We may have lost a lot of relationships. We may have lost friendships, lost loved ones. Many are in grievance. Some people right now are ready to commit suicide. But we want to pull you out of that state and get you to a better place, to knowing that, hey, there's hope. There's hope. There is dry after a rainy storm. There is restoration after things look like it's been overtaken. Hope is not lost. So I want to put that up again to let you know that Minister Sharika is going to be one of our guests. Prophetess Nona, Minister Melissa Tillman, also Minister Yvette Grady. Those phenomenal ladies, we're all going to be in the room just talking and from that specific topic, and just letting you all know that, hey, there's hope. There's hope, because God, they give you a gift. You may not notice it because to the world it may be small, But you guys, I learned that even the small things matter so much because life is short. Life is really, really short. And if you can't enjoy the small victories, or you can't enjoy the gifts that God has given you, how you ever gonna find real happiness? Do we all understand what the joy of the Lord is our strength truly means? I learned that it's being content no matter whether I have or no matter whether I don't have. I learned whether I have a lot or whether I have little, whether people are around or whether people done left me dry. Long as I have Jesus, who's the author and finisher of my faith, then to me, that's more than enough. That is more than enough. So we should all get to that place where we find that God is enough. He's enough. He's more than enough. And he's the one who's going to help sustain. I know it's hard. I know it's hard right now, but there is hope and we're going to make it to the other side. Can I tell you, you're going to make it. If you're feeling like you can't make it, if you're feeling like this holiday season is a drag, things is not like how it used to be, families don't get together like they used to, we don't have the big mamas no more who's the matriarch holding things down. We don't, our generation is lacking a whole lot of those things. But can I tell you, we are going to make it. You're going to make it. You don't have to feel like you're alone for the holiday season. You don't have to put yourself in a depressive state, because God definitely still has a plan for your life. That plan is to prosper you, not to harm you, and that plan is definitely to give you an expected end. So once again, December the 14th, you guys, December the 14th at 7 o'clock, Christmas special table talk. Mark that down. December 14th at 7 o'clock hour. Okay. And then once again, like I said, subscribe, like, share the page. You can always subscribe to sprout.com. Go on and support go on and support. Just support. You guys, we have to definitely learn how to support one another. Our support is so important. I've been learning to truly support, and can I tell you guys, I have been getting the love back. Everything that God has allowed me to put my hands to help others, I have been getting the love shown back. And I truly have been seeing the fruits. Can I tell you, this is rewarding. It really is rewarding. Because when it's your turn, people is going to come for you. I saw the love in supporting. Sometimes I went support others when I was tired, because I always did tell the Lord, when it's going to be my time one day, I'm these people. And God see that. Because I really did need these people. Because you can't do it by yourself. You can't do anything. You can't do it by yourself. You're going to need somebody. Because it's not what you know. And I want to tell it to somebody. It's not all the time what you know. I found out for real. A lot of doors open because of who you know. It's because of who you know. And can I tell you, I had experiences where, because I knew him. Thank you, Holy Ghost. Because I knew him, my life was able to make a whole lot of differences. So you guys are getting ready to go into our actual show at the 7 o'clock hour. So I pray you all enjoy everything that we get taught on tonight. I pray you all have a wonderful and successful night. I pray you all success, because I know somebody right now is going to school. I know somebody is trying to pull their life together. I know somebody is having a rough time thinking about giving up. We have so many people going through so many different transitional phrases right now, but we are here. We are here. You the ones in the live comment, we all here to let you know we see you, and you can't die here. You're not giving up. We're not even letting you give up. Matter of fact, we don't even know what give up means. You guys, 2024, I don't even know what that word means no more. I don't know nothing about giving up. Giving up don't even exist no more in my world. It shouldn't even exist in your world either. We have too much to do and too much inside of us to have about some giving up. So you guys, we'll see you guys shortly back in the 7 o'clock hour. Good evening, good evening. Welcome to Hey I See You podcast talk show. I am your host, Pastor Rochelle Bell. I pray you all had a happy Thanksgiving first and foremost. I pray you all had lots of turkey. Well, I know I can honestly say I had way too much. Matter of fact, I had it fried. And I definitely need to go hit that gym really, really hard. But I pray you all honestly just had a happy Thanksgiving. I hope that you all had a great time with your families, with your friends. We know that life is so short, and we don't want to definitely take it for granted. But definitely this holiday season, get together, start spending time. If you have a grudge with anybody, this is the time to honestly just let go of old grudges, just begin to forgive, find forgiveness in your hearts, and move on. Tomorrow we'll be entering into a new month, you guys. A new month, and then after the new month, we're going into a new year, you guys. See how fast the time flies? 2023 felt like it came and left. Am I the only one maybe it's just me, but am I the only one who feel like that? Like 2023 literally just came not too long ago and now it's almost over already. When I think how far, a lot of people that came from this year, I am so proud of a lot of us. I can honestly say, if you're on live tonight, I want to actually let you know I am so proud of you. Because we stood strong. We decided to put our best foot forward and go forward with visions. No more holding back, no more procrastinating. I done seen lots of women that went back to school. I done seen single moms begin to step up and begin to dream again. A lot of people right now are really stepping up, and I love it. I truly love it because we don't have to settle for the life that was given us. God has given the power and authority. We have the power to change course. Can I tell you that? So no matter what course you're taking, if it was the wrong course, you have the power to change it. You can turn that wrong into right. Don't pay attention to naysayers. Don't worry about who think of what about you. The only thing you need to be just worrying about is if I'm doing the right thing in the eyesight of the Lord. That's it. If you do that, sis, can I tell you, you're good. No matter who don't think you're good, you're good. As long as you're keeping God first and you be obedient to what He's telling you to do. If He's telling you to go back to school, you're going back to school. If He tell you to cut that relationship, go there. It's time to cut it. Leave it alone. If God is telling you to do certain things so that way you can better transition your life for your family and also for yourself, for your ministry, then it's definitely time to do those things. Because God wants you healthy. He wants you healthy. He wants your soul to prosper. He wants your body to be in good shape so that way you can do the things that He needs you to do and also enjoy your life so that way you'll be prosperous as well. It's all about bearing good fruit, you guys. When you bear good fruit, no matter what people say, people is going to always see. The Bible says they know by the fruit that they bear. You're going to know a tree. So if you're bearing good fruit, you're good. Our guest tonight is the definition of a phenomenal woman. Many of you all met her on last month, matter of fact, not last week, but the week before the holiday break. But our broadcast had gotten crossed. There was a lot of technical issues that was going forward, but thank God those things got taken care of. But she is the definition of a phenomenal woman. She is a licensed clinical social worker. She received her Bachelor of Science in Psychology from the University of Louisiana and her Master's of Social Work from Southern University. She has 15 years of experience in the mental health field, which has allowed her to work in settings such as inpatient, outpatient, residential, and community. She works with children, adolescents, adults, elderly, and families through individual, group, and family therapy. Can I introduce to some of you all Miss Shaquwanda Chu? She is a LSCW. You could come on, woman of God. You could come on. on. How you doing tonight?
Hey, how you doing?
All right, I am doing fine. How about you?
I'm doing good. Blessed.
Amen. Amen. How was your Thanksgiving? How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was fine. I definitely took a load off. Like that was my day of rest and restoration. I just kind of chilled and let it be.
I know that's right. Right. A lot of people said that their Thanksgiving was pretty quiet and just pretty much a restful time, which is good. Rest is good.
Definitely.
Look, rest is good. I definitely learned not to move hasty. Yeah, I definitely learned that moving hasty, that's old news now. We're also effective. To me, we're more effective when we're rested. So, I take it haste.
We have to listen to our body.
So, what you were saying?
Oh no, I was just saying we have to listen to our bodies.
Most definitely. Yes, we do. Yes, we definitely do. Yeah, because I learned also, especially in my early days in ministry, ignoring bodies causes you to go to the doctor and have all kind of issues going on. So if our body is definitely telling us to rest, then it's definitely time to rest, because if not, it's going to make you rest for you.
Exactly. So in
starting out, so before we actually get started on tonight, just for references, what areas of mental health do you specialize in?
Well, I definitely specialize in like depression, anxiety, mood stabilization, as well as trauma. I do some work in substance abuse, not too much, but I would definitely say, or for kids, like behavior modification. So I do work with kids, I work with adolescents, and of course I work with the adult population. Stress management, life transition,
awesome.
all of that.
That's awesome. Now this is kind of off. This is off the books, but this had fell in my spirit since earlier. What exactly? Because so many people they're going through hard things. A lot of people. This is people of age, like our age and older. A lot of people are having trouble finding their way, purpose, because right now society is basically giving you this image of you have to look like this, you have to have this type of hair, you have to have this look, you have to have this body structure. What exactly would you tell a person who was going through those type of struggles with their self-image?
Well, I definitely believe you have to find a way to trust the process. If we compare ourselves to other people, or if we focus on the things that we don't have, then we'll never be satisfied. It'll never be enough. So we just have to realize like what we have in the moment, it's ours, and be grateful for it. And if there's anything else that you are striving for, then you have to decide to make those goals to change that, and to achieve it. Everything should be about personal growth and you growing and being a better individual, not necessarily comparison to, someone else. Because if we compare ourselves to, other people, then we'll never be satisfied. Everybody's journey is different, just because your friend might have purchased a house at 25 and you're 35 and haven't done so, doesn't mean that it's not in the works for you. You just have to trust the process of your own personal journeys. And remember that the people that we're comparing our lives to, maybe you don't even have like the true insight into their lives. Because guess what? People are only going to tell and post on social media what they want us to know. We have no idea what's going on in the background.
I definitely like how you said that, because right now social media could either be your best friend or your worst enemy, is what I learned. It's lifestyles that is glamorized, like it's all being thrown out there for you. But like you said, we can't, people cannot, portray their life based off of the lives of others, because we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. People could be genuinely happy, or they could honestly go through something. The matter is that we have to just concentrate on our own lives, what makes you happy, what makes you sad. But it's not, it's not given to too much thought about the things that you don't have. We have to get to a place where we're content with what we do have. This is how I found a way to be happy, and I pray to God it helps somebody else who's listening as well. I had found contentment at the fact that some people don't have a car. I'm fortunate enough to have one. Some people don't have a house. I'm blessed to have a house. We have to look at the things that we do have, and stop. I'm giving so much thought about, well, I don't have this. But we need to thank God that you do have something. It may not be the best, it may not be living on a hole in hill. You have a roof over your head, you have water, you have lights, you have food on your table. We have to be thankful for those things. Like your body is a certain way. Like you say, you gotta just think about the positive traits about yourself and stop focusing so much on the negatives. That's what I learned. That's me, everybody. That's me. But I just learned that, hey, you have to just take yourself as you are, and love and embrace that person, because that person, outside beauty is cool, but what's inside is where the real beauty lies at for me. But whatever's on the inside is going to radiate on the outside. So if you have a beautiful personality, you love people, you treat people with kindness and respect, guess what? Ain't nobody going to be worried about how you look on the outside, because you're going to be so beautiful on the inside. It's going to radiate that beauty, from within to the outer part. And people is going to love and embrace you just for that. They're not going to be worried about your outer appearance like that. So I believe we have to just get to a better place, because social media is definitely becoming a lot of people's worst enemy. It's great to have, for platforms as these to have, for different type of positive purposes, but to actually on there and try to compare, which I'm seeing a lot of people are comparing their lives based upon social media. Like, they'll get on social media and be before they got on, because of there's so much trying to compare. The comparison is so great. So I pray that gets better, that we can no longer compare our lives to a post,
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because at the end of their live. So your entire bio, yes. So your entire bio is impressive, as I told you before. But there was this one particular statement you made that caught my attention, and that was when you stated, "My personal provides space for clients to gather tools that will lead them to become the best version of themselves." Can you tell me where that started from? Where this goal started from?
Well, I definitely think, unfortunately, a lot of us have, grown up in environments where we don't necessarily have all the tools that we need to function. And what I mean by that is sometimes, our family and loved ones, they can only do the best that they can, or they can only do, exactly what they have been taught to do. And I think as we, progress in life, now we have been provided with, tools that will allow us to learn and to do better. You know, Therapy wasn't always a thing that was available to everybody. If you mentioned that you were depressed or, anxious, it was just like, okay, we have to continue and we have to go on. But now it's more encouraged, to seek out that help. And so, I think it's a big deal when someone decides, hey, I think I want to go and, receive that help. So with me, it's definitely providing those tools that maybe necessarily you didn't get growing up, or you wasn't able to, see an example of how to communicate well, or, how to be in a healthy relationship and what that looks like. And so that's kind of where that came from. Looking back at my childhood, I definitely realized like my mom did the best that she could. Nothing against her, because she had to deal with, her own, trauma and things that were going on, and so now that we have the opportunities and the skills to do better, why not pass that on, to other people who can benefit from that as well?
That is so awesome, and I'm glad you said that, because I'm a big person on safe spaces. I am a very big person on safe spaces. Growing up, I didn't feel safe at all. I thank God that God has fully evolved both of my parents. They're on a whole different path than they were before. They're no longer together. They've been divorced for years, but they both gave their life to the Lord, and now they're, my dad is way more calmer than he was back then, because back then he fought my mom a whole lot, so I didn't feel safe, and I got teased a lot also at school, so I didn't feel safe anywhere. I didn't feel safe at school. I didn't feel safe at home. I just didn't feel safe. I tried to find safety in relationships, and that still wasn't safe, because I found myself getting into a relationship, so I just didn't never felt safe. So when I got into ministry, and can I be honest?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be transparent. I didn't even feel safe, because there was things I was dealing with, and I tried to confide in people, and they would tell what I tried to confide in with, and it was a mess. So I found myself not being safe anywhere. So when I finally begin to open up more in my prayer life, and begin to pray and ask God to help lead me and guide me, I find help in prayer, and I found help with specialists like you guys, with actual mental health clinicians. And so I was able to, it felt good to finally open up. It felt good to no longer have to hold those things and operate out of trauma, because I saw that trauma was just coming out of all my relationships, no matter whether it was friendships, relationships. I just was responding in trauma, talking in trauma, reacting in trauma. Like everything was attack. Everything was, defensive. I would get defensive for everything. It was little things that would trip the trauma, because I wouldn't perceive it any other way besides what I was used to perceiving in trauma. So, my perspective definitely had to get healed. And I had to also, because can I tell you, it's possible for you to grow up, but your mindset stays at that age where you got traumatized. That's what I had learned. So, I had to allow my mind to catch up with my body. My mind had to develop into a 33-year-old woman, because it was still stuck at the age of 6 with a trauma. So I thank God for the healing process, and I pray it helps somebody. out there as well. Going to therapy, getting counsel. These things are not taboo in the Black community. Is not too popular, but it's time that we take away that stigma and really get some help, because sometimes you need help far beyond the church walls. We could pray all day, we could pray, but hey, if you need some help because you saw mental health, you can't cast that out. That's not a demon. That's you. That is you who needs to get some help, who needs to get some proper guidance, who need to just get all the other safe where you can just be open and honest. So I do hope that helps somebody on the night. I really do hope that helps somebody. So we are getting ready to go into our actual questions for the night. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So our first question is, what tips for communication when you're a parent whose child struggles with expressing their emotions?
Okay, well, that is a big one. We definitely see that, a lot. We see more and more, of course, kids, going to their friends for information. And of course, when they go to their friends or to social media, they're not going to get the information that they need. So I definitely suggest knowing your kid. And what I mean by that is being able to tell if something is wrong. A lot of times, we're busy in life and we're not really paying attention. But that is number one, to be able to say, okay, something, is off. My daughter and son, they're spending more time, in their room, or, maybe they have quit a sport that they have always liked to participate in, or, maybe their grades are dropping. We have to pay attention to those little things. And you mentioned a good thing earlier about having a safe space. I think that's very important. You don't have to necessarily be your child's friend. You can still have, boundaries and, discipline in order, but your child can still feel safe and know, if I go to mom or I go to dad, I can explain this, I can express this, and it's going to be okay. It's okay to allow our kids to have a voice. I let my daughter know all the time, you can be upset about something. We're not going to always agree. Yes, I am the parent, and ultimately I do have to make decisions based on keeping you safe, and so you might not always agree with those, but I will hear you out. I will listen to you. And so even if in the beginning that seems kind of weird, because that's things that you have to adjust to. I didn't grow up expressing feelings and talking to my mom about those things, because that's just not the household that we grew up in. But as I had, my own daughter, I had to learn and, figure out new ways to, improve my parenting and, make sure that she doesn't feel maybe how I felt growing up. And so one thing that I do find that works, if your kid is a little hesitant to, come to you and talk to you about things, because sometimes, come on now, it can be weird. Oh my God, I'm talking to my mom about this. So what you can do is you can purchase a journal. You can, allow okay, well, this is our journal. This is our safe space. You can say anything in this journal and write it down. And when you're ready to give to me, I will read it. I will receive it. And then I can respond to you. And then that can be our way of kind of communicating, where we feel comfortable enough to put all our feelings out on the paper, but not feel maybe intimidated by doing so in person. And so that's going to help build that communication. And eventually you will be able to sit down in front of each other and have those things. Another thing is you can definitely incorporate it into game night. You can, have game night where you're playing Monopoly or Uno. And that's a great time to kind of ask your kids, what's going on? What's happening at school? Tell me about your friends and how was class? And because that takes the pressure off of it. It doesn't feel like, okay, mom or dad is interrogating me. It just feels like we're all having fun and we're sharing and we're just, doing this as a normal thing, having dinners together. That'd be a great time as well to kind of, talk about your day. Well, how was school, and, what happened in band class today, or, what's going on in dance. Tell me about it, because that's how you're going to find out like what's really going on in your child's life. Because of course, kids are going to, if you don't ask and your kid's not really social, they're not going to tell you. So a good way to do that is just to incorporate, family time, and that's going to take the pressure off of, hey, what's going on, what's wrong, that type of thing, because it feels kind of natural for you guys to just be having fun, and then you kind of slide in, hey, so how is school? Like, do you see people that like vape a lot, or doing things like that? And then it's just going to make it more like genuine that you're asking these questions and not feeling like, okay, well, who is this person? I don't know this person. And and so then they're going to build that wall up. So those are the things that I would suggest. Definitely, journaling, or just incorporating more family time to where y'all can like sit down, talk, have fun, and then not feel any pressure with it.
That's some actual great points. I really do believe that that's some great points. So I hope those who are listening who have younger kids or teenagers, I hope you guys took that information, because I definitely took that in my memory bank. I know I definitely do a lot of family game night. I do a lot of family game night with my kids. We have the little bingo, we got the Uno cards. I always try to find little things to do with them, but definitely, I did ran across an actual daughter and mom journal, and I actually saw a type of journal for boys as well. My son, he struggles a lot with his temper, and so I told him that journaling, writing things down and to express your feelings will be a great way, so that way you don't have to react to anything. You could just go take some deep breaths. I be telling them to if you see a situation, excuse yourself away from it. Don't wait until it overballs.
Right.
I tell them just go somewhere, take a deep breath, just walk away. Take a couple of deep breaths, because the way about to you're better when you first are calm, so you could think before reacting. I tell them, when a person reacts before thinking, that's how they get themselves in trouble, and you don't want to get to a place where you do something that you can't, as you get older. So
exactly.
Definitely the journaling to me is a plus. Journaling is definitely a plus. I know I'm a big writer. I got journals and notebooks for days. That is how I express myself. Because sometimes I get tongue-tied. I mean, I know a lot of people can hear that. Sometimes I get tongue-tied. I remind myself so much of Moses, because Moses was a stutterer. And I say, well, Lord, you continuously use my tongue. So you just get it writing. Writing is a great way to express yourself, and it helps you be free as well. To me, I find it really liberating. I really do. So it's definitely a stress reliever. She said journaling and also family game night is the best way to connect with the kids, because sometimes they don't want to always tell the truth. We ask them, "You okay? How your day was?" "Oh, it was okay." Now we know for a fact not every day was an okay day. Not every day. Okay, on to the next question. Name a few things that can trigger a person's anxiety. How can that person detect it and better manage it?
Oh, Lord, everybody. I think everybody has to realize that we have some type of anxiety. Back in the day, I can remember like the older people saying, my nerves just bad. Because I can definitely remember my mom saying that. And, as I got older and I got in, to the field of mental health, I was just like, Mom, that means you're anxious. That means you have some anxiety.
Right.
And so I was like, it's okay.
And
Anxiety.
they would definitely say
exactly. And so it's good. It's definitely good to have some anxiety, because that's going to allow you to prep. Like, it's you can have good anxiety, like me feeling, nervous before a job interview or maybe a test, because that's going to push me to, do my best or to prepare for it. But then you just have to think about like the anxiety that can be crippling, and that's the anxiety that stops us from, being able to function. Maybe it's keeping us up at night because we're, constantly like obsessing over, the same things, or maybe we're, worried about things that we cannot control. Or maybe it's preventing us from going out and being social because, we have that anxiety of what other people are going to think of us. And so you just have to kind of look at the situation and like reevaluate, okay, when do I feel the most anxious? Like, is it in a social setting? Is it at home? Is it at work? Like, what's happening for me to like feel that, and what exactly is happening? Like, try to identify your symptoms. Is it just causing me to, like, I'm not sleeping? Maybe I get like a stomach ache, or, maybe I overeat or, stop eating. And so when you can kind of figure out like what the triggers are, you can go ahead and prepare better. Okay. So I know I don't like to be in social settings, but my best friend is getting married and I need to be there. Like, this is what I need to do. I think, exercising, like engaging in, meditation, like grounding yourself to be present. That's definitely going to help with anxiety. And then you have to, pay attention to what is causing the anxiety, because if it's something like work or relationship or things like that, some of those things we just have to learn how to let go or change, and then we'll be able to see that our anxiety has decreased significantly, and so we just have to be willing to make those changes. And so when you're thinking about like coping skills for anxiety, those are the things that you want to do. Make sure that you're grounding yourself. Journaling is good, because guess what? Once you put everything, how you feeling on that page, you can leave it there and not think about it anymore. Or, if you deciding that, you want to immerse in, reading your Bible or maybe meditation, maybe that's how you can start your day. And that's going to help you remain calm throughout the day, and realizing a lot of our anxiety comes from the things that we cannot control. Think about your locus of control, right? The most things that we can control is how we respond to stuff and how it makes us feel. We can't control what other people are going to do, how other people are going to respond. We can't control what's going to happen, but you can control your aspect of it. And so what I mean by that is certain simple things. Like, if I know that I take forever to get ready, then I need to make sure I'm setting my alarm, early enough for me to get up, get dressed, and out the door, because it's just going to cause me more anxiety if I'm running late and now there's an accident and now I'm going to be to work late. So sometimes we create our own anxiety. So it's just little things like that we have to be able to take control. Is it something that I can't control? Give it to God and let it go. But if it's something that I can, that's within my little circle, then what am I doing to make those changes?
Amen. That is so good, especially when you say sometimes we create our own anxiety, because it's the truth. We have to sometimes learn to move a little different. We definitely have to. I know I used to be the queen of being late for everything. I'm talking about everything. I'll be late for church. I'll be late for work. I would just always want to do everything, even pay me enough to do anything at the last minute. But it actually helped now because now I'm so much in a more calmer place. I'm not easily bothered. I don't have a lot of things triggering me like it used to. I can honestly say for the first time in my life, I actually have my anxiety under control. But because I had to make a lot of changes, started exercising. I found out what my triggers were. I learned to not take everything the wrong way, not really what I'm really perceiving it as. I just learned to let a lot of things go. Be like, oh, okay, like, all right, just shrug my shoulders, like, okay, not give that too much thought. Not going to give that negativity too much thought. There's no need to keep having racing thoughts, because when I tell you racing thoughts, I would barely get sleep. The psychiatrist had to give me some medication and all that, but I was able to bypass the medication and actually be able to set a certain standard for my life that actually created a whole different type of atmosphere where I had to find a balance. Once I was able to get that balance, everything started mellowing itself out, and now you're able to just move and you're able to be more determined. You know exactly what triggers you. You're well aware of those things, but now you don't have so much stress on your plate as well, because if you balance your life, you're going to find yourself being less anxious. You really will. Definitely. Because you'll have things together so you could go to work on time. So that's definitely a stress reliever. If you have to be to a certain place for a certain time, like you said, get that ready like hours early or the day before. Just have yourself more prepared. I think that's the key, key. And also getting the help you need. If you a person who feel anxious a lot, then help you. I definitely have to get some help, because maybe there's some tools that you need to help you, manage the anxiety and learn your triggers.
Oh yeah.
I didn't out on my own. I had to go get help to learn myself, because let's be honest, we like to point the finger less at ourselves. So we don't always detect our faults all the time. We try to bypass our faults because we don't like to always admit that something's wrong with us, or we're the person at fault, So I had to go get help in order to find out, hey, yeah, this is what's going on. This is what you need to do in order for you to become less anxious, in order for you to have a normally functioning mindset, that's going to be, help you and not work against you, if that makes sense.
Definitely. Makes complete sense. And, I think we have to, realize, I love when you said about like not looking at ourselves or, putting the blame on something else. Look, we can't control what happened to us in life. We can't control what other people do to us, if we have experienced, some type of negativity or trauma, that definitely is not your, fault. You're not responsible for that. But I think also you have to realize you might not be responsible for what has happened to you, but you are responsible for the healing process, because no one else can do that. It's only up to you to say, hey, I'm not well. Let me see what I can do to improve the way that I function, improve the way that I see things, improve the way that I do things, improve the person that I am, to my family, my friends, my significant other, whatever that situation is. I think we just have to look at those tools. Think about it. In school, we learn new skills every day to progress. Same thing with work. They have trainings, they have all these things, in order for us to be better employees. Same thing with therapy. You're just learning new skills
Amen.
to do things better.
Amen. Amen. And that's so true. That is so true. Our next question is, this is a rough time of the year for a lot of people who suffer great losses, loved ones, jobs, homes, etc. We know the holiday season can be a very rough time. It's happy for most, but some people are definitely struggling. So how can a person detect if they are falling into a depression? And what are some healthy tools you would recommend on combating against depression?
Well, like you said, the holidays can be definitely a great time, a great time to hang out, a great time to just get in that, holiday cheer. However, unfortunately, the holidays are also at a time where the season is different. And a lot of people experience what we call seasonal depression because of the time change. It's beginning to get darker quicker. And so you don't have access to, sunlight like you would before. We're used to like the sun being out to 8, 9 o'clock at night. And now it's getting darker at like 4:30, 5 o'clock. And so you're literally waking up to start your day in the dark, and your day is ending in the dark as well. And so those vital times of being out, when it's bright, you might be stuck, at work or doing things, for the family. So I think being able to recognize like that you're in a depression, like, okay, am I sleeping more? Or maybe I'm not sleeping at all. Am I eating more, as far as like, is that the way that I make myself feel better? Maybe I don't have an appetite at all. Is it difficult for you to get out of bed? You just want to lay in bed, lay under the blanket, not get dressed, not comb your hair, don't have the energy. I don't think some people realize like whenever we're truly depressed, it definitely has an effect on us physically. Sometimes it physically hurts. Like you feel like you physically don't have the energy to get up and go to the bathroom and get in the shower. And so think about those things. A lot of times we don't like to think about like, suicide and things like that. But being able to tell yourself, hey, I am having thoughts like, if I don't wake up tomorrow, it wouldn't even matter. That's not necessarily saying, hey, I'm going to do any harm to myself. But that is a symptom. Sometimes we do have those thoughts like, why am I even here if I'm like suffering? And so we have to be able to, take that note and say, okay, if I'm thinking this, something is wrong. And so if you're having or experiencing these things, definitely seek out, seek out treatment, whether that's like, getting or a therapist, whether that's, talking to a pastor, talking to your primary care doctor. Sometimes we kind of have to incorporate medication just enough to take the edge off, to give us a little motivation to get out of bed, to see something different. Let your family and friends know, because maybe something as simple as them coming to sit with you or be enough, for you to like start making those steps. Okay, I'm not ready to go out and socialize, but I'll socialize at home, and that's going to make me feel better. Also recognizing like with the holidays, do you have like family that you miss or experience losses? Is this going to be your first holiday, without your husband or wife, or without mom or dad, those types of things? And being able to acknowledge and accept it is going to be hard. You are not weak because you feel sad that this is the first Christmas that you have to do without mom, and mom had this great tradition and we would all go to her house, and now we don't feel like we're going to be able to do that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to prepare for the situation. Hey, I know the holidays is coming up. I'm pretty sure it's going to be hard. This is the first holiday that I don't have with this person. What can I do to make sure that I'm okay? Does that mean I join a support group? Does that mean that, I make sure that I'm not just sitting at home in bed, that, even though I don't feel like it, maybe I'll go by a friend's house and spend time with them and their family. Or maybe I'll go to another family member's house. Just having a plan, just, being able to recognize that these things could be happening. Or sometimes things just slip up. Maybe you're busy with family and you don't recognize, like, okay, Christmas is coming up, and then it kind of like hits you, oh wait, it is coming up, and this is like a time that I'm going to miss this person. It is okay to feel your feelings, but you don't want it to, isolate you from the rest of the world. And so you just have to kind of figure out, like, what is it that I can do to make myself feel better? And if you can't figure that out, then it's time to reach out to somebody that can help you and guide you and, help you start to process certain things, because there is no time limit on grief. Grief can, last for years. It's just all about being able to, like, manage it so that it doesn't stop you from being able to function, in the life that you have.
Amen. My grandmother died at not she wasn't an old age at all. She was only in like her early 60s. So, watching my mom grieve over, because they were so close. And my mom really took that very, very hard, like very, very hard. Because I'm talking about, when I say my mom was spoiled behind my grandmother, I'm talking about she was spoiled, just like how I am behind her. She was really spoiled. So when my grandmother died, she really took that hard, and still to this come up, I have to encourage her, and console her as well. The only thing I told my mom, you just got survive it. I to just survive. You waking up to see another day. Have your time. You gotta cry, then cry. And just repeat. Repeat, meaning that get it out and then repeat. Go about your day or whatever. Just the more you get it out in time, you're able to handle it better. Not saying it's gonna be all good, because the fact that that person's not in the physical world anymore is not, that's a part of a person that's never going to be okay. Especially if any of us lost anybody close to us, that is a heavy ordeal to live with. The more you just pour it out, just pour, instead of holding it in. The more you just pour it out, and like you said, talk to somebody. I found that talking to somebody really unloads a whole lot. Especially a professional. Because sometimes not everybody are gonna understand exactly what you're going through. You see what I'm saying? So you need somebody who can understand it from different perspectives. That's gonna give you the right words to say, because especially a person who's not in the mental health field, or a person who never went through the same thing you went through, they usually don't have the words for you, because they don't even know the right words to say. They be afraid of saying the wrong. Let's face it, if we haven't lost like a child, we haven't lost a parent, what exactly can I tell this person that's going to help them feel better? Let's just be honest. We only could tell people things from experience. You understand? So if I don't have that experience, I usually, like a deer with headlights, what can I tell you? Because if this was me, would I be okay? We have to think about things like that. So definitely get some help. I say definitely get some help. Or like you say, go to a support group. A bunch of people who've been in your situation, a bunch of people who know what it's like to lose somebody close to them, and you can see people how they're holding up, and how they overcome depression, how they dealt with their grief, and how they was able to move on with their life, under the the circumstances and the cards that they was dealt with. So I really believe that there are some great tools that you just offer. Definitely some support groups, and definitely reaching out to mental health clinician and talking about struggle. I believe that's so important, and it's definitely something that we shouldn't ignore, especially as we're approaching the holiday season.
Yes, definitely.
So our next question is, how does not confronting trauma damage a person's friendships and relationships? And what type of help do you advise that person get?
Well, whenever we, experience, some type of trauma, it definitely has its impact on us. And so I remember earlier you shared like your 33-year-old body, or mind, your 6-year-old mind had to catch up with your adult body. And so, that definitely hits home, because a lot of times we have to tell ourselves like we are no longer this scared little kid that bad things used to happen to. We no longer have to hold, our heart so tight that we don't let anybody in. And so that's how, trauma can definitely affect, the things around us, because maybe you have your guard up all the time and you're suspicious of everybody, thinking that they're going to, hurt you in some kind of way. And that's going to prevent you from like truly opening up and truly really receiving, the good that this person might be able to bring to your life. Or maybe you become too clingy too quickly because, you feel like, oh, well, I've been abandoned all my life and this person is great and I don't want to, lose them. So I'm going to make sure I do, everything right and I please them and, whatever the situation is. So, different traumas definitely affect us differently. And so we have to be able to recognize when we are the common denominator. I know it's easy to be like, okay, well, this friendship or this relationship failed because of such and such. Okay. But is there a pattern? Is there a pattern with you? And that is okay. Like, that is not anything negative. That is just meaning like, okay, something underlying is affecting how, I engage or how I communicate or, things like that. And so let me see how I can, change that. And maybe I do need more skills on how to communicate. Maybe I shut down. Maybe I was never taught that it's okay, to express how I'm feeling. Or maybe mom yelled at me a lot. And so if my friend or my significant other raised their voice to me, that triggers me and send me back to 5-year-old self when mom was yelling at me, in the corner. So you just have to think about those things and be okay with the saying, hey, I'm the issue. And not in a way that like it's a negative thing, but just in a way that I can recognize that I'm contributing to some of the chaos in my life as well. And it's because of such and such. And I'm ready to process that and let that go and move into the next chapter of my life.
Amen. Amen. A lot of what you were saying definitely hit home, because that's how I was able to heal as well, especially after my divorce. After my divorce, I learned a lot about myself, honestly. I know the things that I know the parts that he played, but I had to examine myself and the parts I played as well. And the fact that, I wasn't healed. I was in a marriage where I was operating in trauma. My reactions was through trauma. A lot of the way I would speak was really because of trauma. I took a lot of things as a attack. A lot of things as an attack. I wasn't healed. I I wasn't operating in a healthy place at all. And so those things, those things really do show up in our life if we don't get those things healed. If we don't take time, first of all, this is why I learned. It would be hard to just jump in a relationship without you getting healed first. You understand? It's all
Mm-hmm.
about, self-discovery all over again, learning what you likes, your dislikes, your triggers, how you perceive things, because the Bible tells us, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, I acted like a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. So there's a lot of things that we have to learn about ourselves so that we no longer operate in a childlike behavior again. You see what I'm saying? So I definitely had to do a whole lot of growing up. I definitely had to. And ain't nobody could have do it but me. I had to be the one to be like, hey, this is what's going on. You need to seriously pull this together. If you ever want a healthy relationship again in your life, this is the time to begin to learn who you are, learn all your triggers, finally forgiving process, because that was another major thing. Excuses. Oh, I had a bunch of those. Excuses for the behavior. You understand? I had an excuse of why I act like this. Well, because my dad did this to me, and he did this to my mom, and I had to put away those excuses. That's important. We're not saying it's not important, but you can't hold on to that for the rest of your life and make excuses for your behavior based off of that.
Right.
It's time to confront those things and move on with your life. So I really had to, God really truly correct me and letting me know that, hey, it's no more excuses no more. This thing
Mm-hmm.
has happened way long ago. It's not the early 2000s anymore. We about to be in a whole new year. How long are you going to continue on holding on to this thing that happened so long ago and use that as an excuse for you not, growing and healing and becoming the best version of yourself? If we want this abundant life that the Lord talks about, then we have to put in the work in order to obtain it. It's not going to just fall in our lap.
Right. Definitely. And, like I said, it all goes back to you taking that responsibility of your healing. Of course, as we're growing up and we're kids, that's the time that we're molded. So whatever we see growing up, we tend to think that that is normal. And so the relationships that we see in our lives, whether it's like how mom and dad interact, or our relationship with our siblings or cousins, or going to our friend's house and see how their parents are, those are the things that shape us. And so you have to be able to recognize, okay, that's not right. I don't like the way that feels. You have to kind of dive into, hey, just because this person feels like this is how they should love me, that doesn't mean that that's how I want to be loved. Like, how do you want to be loved, and being able to express that?
Exactly.
And also listening.
And I totally agree with that.
Mm-hmm. And then listening to what that person is saying, how they want to be loved, because everybody receives love in a different way. If you do something for me, look, I'm going to love you. Pick up these, clean up these dishes, clean up this house. Listen, go wash my car. I'm going to love it. I am all for it, because guess what? That means you took time out your day to do something that is stressful for me, and that's going to allow me to relax. But my daughter is completely different. My daughter loves to be loved on. She loves hugs and kisses and loves to hear, you love her and things like that. And so even though I don't need it, I had to realize that's what she needed and give her the love in that way.
Right. Hey man, at time my oldest daughter's like that too. She's very over the top affectionate. So I learned to put my I like my mother, and I just, she come in for a hug, I hug. I embrace my son as well a lot, because I want him to let him know that, being affectionate don't mean you're less than. That's not being less than a man, because a lot of the stigma even on boys are like that, like showing emotions is bad. No, it's to express yourself, open up and talk, communicate. I'm teaching those things because at the end of the day, you're gonna grow up into young women. You're gonna grow up one day into a man, and you want to know that, hey, I could be strong, but also I could be open all at the same time. I could, express how I'm feeling to my significant other, and I can also express to my boss, whoever, in a healthy way, without crazy backlash, without shutting off. Because a lot of boys, they'll shut off
Definitely.
fast. They won't want to open up. So I've been definitely creating different safe spaces for my kids. When I tell you, I've been maneuvering around and trying to find all kind of different methods on how to communicate with them, and how to allow them to express themselves in a certain way. It has been definitely a challenge, but I thank God that a lot of progress is being made, because he's opening up. He's learning how to handle himself differently. He's learning how to walk away from certain things. Not saying nobody's perfect. I'm seeing progress. So I always say progress, over the process. So I thank God for the progress with the process.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, and I think each and every person on live right now, and also our listeners, should also pat for the progress, because sometimes we look for like big progress, but it's the small progress that to me that's the small progress, because it shows growth. Hey, this is how this was before, but now, wow, look where we at now. So definitely, we always should celebrate ours. It can always be like, wow, look how far, look how far we came from this place to that place. It may not look big to nobody, but I love to celebrate the steps, because when you can actually see your growth pattern, from when you was over here to now you're over here, you're making more and more progress. So those things should definitely be celebrated. We shouldn't always try to wait. For me, we shouldn't always try to wait for anything huge to happen to celebrate ourselves. Because to me, that's another thing of why a lot of people are not happy, because we're always waiting for these big moments to take place to think that we need to, be happy or celebrate or be content with. But it's always life that makes so much of a difference.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So going into this, even though society marks the holidays as the most wonderful time of the year, where in reality is the most stressful time, where folks stress over buying gifts, not having to buy all those expensive gifts, and they usually have to work. So working usually kills the mood of enjoying the holidays. What are some stress management tools would you recommend to help someone be able to relax while enjoying the holidays?
Well, definitely, I would say, just knowing like what to expect, like definitely preparing. I think a lot of our, stress management comes from being able to like prepare significantly. Okay, are we going to be traveling this year? And if we are, what does that look like? Like, what do I need to go ahead and start doing? Because the more, the longer that we procrastinate about things, that's when we create our own anxiety. That's when we, create our own stress. So putting things on a calendar and setting goals like, okay, I need to have this done by this time. Are you going to someone else's home? Or are you hosting? And am I responsible for, bringing a dish? Or am I responsible for bringing, anything like that. So if you're hosting, okay, I'm hosting, this is going to be this amount of people. When do I need to start preparing? What do I need to do? Also, a lot of times, being able to set that financial budget for the holidays, because it's so easy to get wrapped up in it's the holidays and I want everybody to be happy, and and before you know it, you have completely blown your budget, and now you're going into the new year struggling or upset because, oh my God, I spent way too much money. So being able to look at things, okay, the food is going to cost this amount of money, and that's going to leave me with such and such to get gifts. And so we have to be able to look at the options that we have. We have
oh my goodness.
We have so many more options now. Like, you can literally find so many things in the store Five Below. And so you can go get 4 or 5 gifts for $20, $25. We don't have to be above our means. We don't have to, what they say it in the olden days, we don't gotta keep up with the Joneses. Because we don't know, the Joneses
exactly.
The Joneses might have the nicest clothes on and then ain't got no lights in their house. We not trying to do that. We have to put things in prioritize what needs to be done, and so we should not be going broke regarding these things. If we can't afford iPads and all those things, then guess what? We got to do other things that our kids can appreciate, because I promise you, once they get older and they're able to appreciate things, they're not going to say, well, I remember this one Christmas when Mom got me that iPad. No, they're going to probably be like, well, I remember this one Christmas when we all sat down and watched movies all day and drink hot chocolate. It's more about the memories than it is about the gifts. And so I would suggest, like I said, planning, and that way you don't find yourself in a pickle.
Exactly. I love most in the gifts. I like that. That is one, I promise you, after the segment, I am going right down, because my kids already know. Look, I'm not going by no PlayStation 5. I'm not going to get all this. My kids already know. Look, we not doing all that. You know, I'm not big on, we have to have this and we have to have that. I'm not big on that. Like I said, I was looking online for some games, because like I said, I'm big on family night. And so my son was looking at games with me, because we wanted to find something to do for the holidays when they're off of school, And so we found like 2 games to do for our moving night and for our game nights and stuff. And they're happy for just things like that. They're happy. To be honest, they're not even worried about what I'm gonna get for Christmas. They don't even care. If I get something, okay, if I, because at the end of the day, everything that they need already, and they know that, I'm able to get these things, but it don't really matter, because I never spoiled them on all that stuff, And so it's really up to us. It's about what we introduce our kids to. If we make it a big deal, they're gonna make it a big deal, So if we put that stigma on them that we have to have this and we have to have that, then they're gonna always have that expectation, and then you're putting more stress on yourself, because now they expect that, and when you can't deliver, they're gonna get upset, and that's gonna, it's gonna be a whole big mess. So like you said, if you're in a place where you have it together like that, and you got just a bunch of bank, and that's your little spending change, then I am not mad at you.
Okay.
I promise you, I am not upset with you. Y'all going and do it big. Have that Christmas tree loaded. If it's not gonna hurt nothing, then hey, Do your thing. We are not, let's not get this broadcast twisted. We are not hating on those who are capable. But little people like myself at the moment, unfortunately, I'm not there right now. And that's okay.
Yes, that is perfectly okay.
We definitely don't want to, but we definitely don't want to ruin our holiday based upon stuff. We definitely don't want to do that, because at the end of the day, my dad said something so profound. He said, a lot of people are going to be forgetting, the real reason behind the season, is the fact that, hey, Christ has died for you. The fact that we're all still here, the ones who are here, we still have life. We, a lot of us, we made it throughout a pandemic, that killed so many people, we not all diseased up in our bodies, and the ones who did end up getting sick, if you're still here, to God be the glory, definitely have something to celebrate. Anything, then you definitely have a reason to celebrate. So we have to realize, what the real reason for the season is, and it's not about gifts and spoiling our kids with a whole bunch of tangible stuff and having to break our minds trying to get all this stuff, knowing that we don't have a lot of money to really get all this stuff. And now bills going up being due around the 1st of January, after New Year's, and now you don't know how you're gonna pay all this because you're gonna spend all this money on you don't want to do it off like that. I know I definitely don't want to start my new year off in no debt, so we have to just be mindful that it's not about gifts, it's about the gift giver, and God is definitely the gift giver. He has to be thankful for. If you're still living, you definitely have a lot to be thankful for, because the break you breathing is a gift all by itself that we're able to see every morning. So let's just be mindful about that. It's definitely something to be mindful about. So here's our last question for tonight. What advice would you give a person who struggles with interpersonal relationships?
Ooh, that is a big one. You definitely. I think that the best thing that you can do is kind of what we have talked about during this whole segment. Looking at yourself. What are you contributing to these relationships? Because that's the only thing that you can change. That you can't change anything else about anybody else. And so you being able to recognize, is my communication off? What am I doing to contribute, to the chaotic communication? Or do I hold grudges? Is it hard for me to forgive and to let go and move on? Or do I hold on too much? I think you have to look at relationships in your life and figure out what is the purpose that it is serving you. And if it's no longer serving you a purpose, then why are you still holding on to it? We all have childhood friends that we, grew up with. So we feel we need to take them on every journey that we go on. Not necessarily, because people grow apart. And that is okay. And so you have to figure out what is this internal conflict that I am facing on a daily basis? Is it, do I lash out because I feel I'm hurt or I'm not heard? What is triggering the disagreements or the arguments or, whatever it is that I'm feeling, with my friends or my family or my, romantic relationships. And then you being able to, set the tone and set boundaries. What is it that you are going to accept and that you can compromise with? And what is it that is a definitely no, I'm not compromising on that? Because when we kind of figure out who we are and what works for us and what we can do to be better, then guess what? Those are the type of people that we're going to radiate and draw into our lives. That's the part I really want people to understand. When we are like in a good place, those are the people that we're going to bring, or if negativity does come, we're going to be able to recognize it. And so if we're in a dark place or we're not happy, then guess what? Those are the exact same people that we're going to be, being attracted to. And it's not going to make the situation better. So you want to make sure that whenever you are, navigating through these relationships, you're looking at it from, okay, what can I do to change? What can I do to make it better? Like I said, is this relationship serving me any type of purpose? And one thing we always have to realize is when we are learning to effectively communicate, active listening, we have got to be okay with listening to ourselves as well as the other person.
Right.
Especially when we are in a heated moment, it is very easy for you to listen, to respond, and not listen to understand. And so, they're talking and they're pouring out their heart.
Oh my, yes.
And all you can think of is, this is what I'm going to come back with. I'm ready. And this is what I'm going to say, because you didn't do this and you didn't do that. And so you and missed the whole thing. You and miss completely like what they're trying to tell you, because you're so focused on how you
I used to be a guilty party.
Exactly. How I'm gonna get my lick back.
Right. That was definitely me a couple of years back. Oh, thank God for deliverance.
Exactly.
Like you say, you're not even listening to understand, you're just listening to respond,
Mm-hmm.
And
so,
we definitely have to do better.
Yes. So, listening to understand, and be willing to make those compromises. Compromising does not mean that we're losing. We like to look at arguments and things like that, like, okay, well, I lost it. I lost this argument, or I didn't get my way. No, it's a compromise. You get a little something, the other person get a little something. That's how we, should be looking at the situation. And so if we can do those things, compromise and listen. And the last thing is definitely, what is your tone and what is your delivery? Like we always say, it's not always about what you say, it's how you say it. And so your tone and how you do things
exactly
can definitely change the outcome of something. And so when you are having a heavy conversation or something that's very important, I definitely think that should be done face to face. Because if you sit here and you fire off a bunch of text messages, you don't know how that person is going to receive it. And you got to be mindful of that.
That is so true. And certain conversations shouldn't even be in that form, because what I learned, text messaging can be so misperceived, and it's not even funny, because you can't hear how a person is coming. You could read that and take that completely the wrong way, and then when you call, they'll be like, well, no, I really meant it, I didn't mean it like that. And you'll be like, oh, okay, because it's just so straightforward, and you can't feel that person, I'm trying to find the right words. You can't really hear that person's tone of voice too much in a text message. So there's certain things that I definitely that wouldn't text. There's certain conversations I wouldn't definitely have in a text. If I know this is something serious that needs to be discussed, I'm calling, so that way there's no misunderstandings, nobody take anything the wrong way. It could be explained, so I'd rather do it like that.
I definitely, agree, because when we're texting, we definitely have to understand, like, we're texting fast, our fingers slip, we might hit the wrong emoji, we might type the wrong word, it can be in all caps, and then somebody, perceive that as, oh, they yelling at me. Why it's in all caps? Or why you use all these exclamation points? Oh, so you really want me to know that, and that could just be a pure accident. Like, oh my God, my hand hit the wrong emoji, and or if I'm typing fast and then I hit send, I don't realize that I mistyped a word, and it's done. The message is out there now, so just being mindful of those communication techniques.
Thank you so much, sis, for all what you did, all the information that you gave each and every one of us on tonight. I definitely appreciate you so much. We're gonna have to do another segment one day, most definitely. I just feel us connecting again. This was so helpful. It even helped me, so I know for a fact it helped somebody else out there. Mm-hmm. So we definitely appreciate you coming on tonight. God bless you. And then you guys, he's getting married in January, so congratulations in the comments. We wish you all the blessings and what life has to offer you guys. So just know I'm definitely gonna be there. But we thank God for each and every one of you all on tonight, for listening, for watching. We pray that you all got some valuable information out of the podcast and the broadcast on tonight. You guys, we want you to be okay. We definitely want you to be okay. We know that the holiday season is a rough time, and especially right now with the weather being so dark and so gloomy and the time change, sometimes you'll find yourself in a dark place, but just know that there's definitely hope, and there's definitely alternatives, different things that you could get to, so that way you can get some help, so that way you don't have to spend your holidays alone. You don't have to spend it blue and in a dark place. They have people that genuinely actually care. Can I tell you that we're one of those people who cares? We actually care. We want to see you guys be healthy, because when your mind is healthy, your body is healthy, and you're healthy. So we thank you, woman of God, on tonight for tuning in. The ones who missed the video earlier for the pre-show, I'll play that for you guys as well, along with posting the flyer for December the 14th, which is our Christmas special. I'm definitely looking forward to that segment, the greatest gift that God has ever given you. I'm definitely looking forward to it, because I know that God is just doing a thing. He's so intentional. I thank him for just the little stuff. I've been thanking him a lot for the little stuff. So you guys, you all have a blessed night, and remember to take time to water yourself. I See You is the soft, intimate space. It's more than just a platform. It's a God-given vision that God has instilled in me to create a soft, intimate moment for each and every one of us women. Because to be honest, every woman has a broken little girl on the inside of her, waiting to blossom out to become the phenomenal woman that God orchestrated her to be. And so we all come together and we share each other's fears, we share each other's doubts, we all share each other's things, dreams, and ambitions that we all trying to accomplish as mothers, as women. If we all just find ourselves sharing the same passions, we find ourselves sharing the same purposes, and God wanted to all be able to evolve into the great person that God has orchestrated us to be. So I'm here to let you know that, sis, I see you. And not only do I see you, but God sees you. God wants you to allow your light to illuminate and shine right before others. God wants you to evolve into the beautiful butterfly that you are ordained to be. God wants you to know that each and every woman in this video who's going to be portraying this purpose woman that's inside of you, God wants you to know that you're not overlooked because He sees you. God sees the brokenhearted. God sees the wife. He sees the single mother. God sees the visionary. God sees the entrepreneur. He sees the warrior that is within you. God sees the poor in spirit, and God sees the worshiper. But most importantly, God sees you. Tune in and watch Hey, I See You live podcast every Thursday night at 7 p.m. You can watch it via Facebook and also listen to it on Spotify and Buzzsprout. Take time to water yourself.